A fascinating change in the way we communicate on the internet has been the move from text to visual imagery. We are, after all, visual creatures, relying on our sight to navigate complex situations in the environment. So the transition from a more abstract representation of information to things like photos and videos feels natural. While we typically think of our eyes as being trustworthy, the information provided to them can sometimes be deceptive. When it comes to the internet, we're now being bombarded with visual content that has been altered in some way. In certain cases, these alterations have been malicious. How did this come about? Several decades ago, digital artists were hard at work developing new ways to manipulate visual information crossing emerging communications networks. Inspired by the retouching techniques of darkroom photography, they developed algorithms that could replicate what had been done by hand with film on a computer, all for creative purposes. After realizing the expansive potential of digital photography, they went on to develop algorithms for radically different techniques that could restyle the appearance of a photo in ways that were simply impossible to execute in the darkroom. This led to the development of Photoshop and related tools. Such software could be used to alter the meaning of an existing photo or generate realistic scenes that never occurred. Later, breakthroughs in AI enabled deep fakes. A deep fake is an automatically generated fake video. It could contain people saying things they never uttered or performing actions that did not occur in real life. Once these tools got into the hands of the general public, motivations driving their use weren't always creative. All of these technologies have been abused to create deceptive content, target outgroups with false messages, and even obscure evidence of real crimes. An aggressive response by researchers, lawyers, and government investigators has followed. But to what end? The role of AI in stirring up trouble on the internet is just beginning. How we tend to think about this problem has been shaped by the idea of the perfect fake, an image portraying a falsehood that is so good that it is impossible to tell that it isn't real. But on the internet, we rarely encounter such a thing. Instead, we more often come into contact with manipulated content where any changes are meant to be noticed because they are part of the message being conveyed. The piece you are about to read will give you some historical context for this. Regardless of how it's used, there's something fundamental about the idea of an overtly fake image.